new day. It's time for our Big Issues segment, where we talk about the major issues making the news in Ghana. Today, there are two big issues. We've touched on one of them during this morning segment, and a lot of you called in to share your views on the rerun of elections in some 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North and the position of the NPP. Yesterday, during a press conference via their General Secretary, they did announce that they will not participate in the rerun of elections in some 19 polling stations, which is scheduled to take place this Friday on the 11th of July in Ablekuma North. Now, a lot of you sent your comments and thoughts on this, but one call that stood out for me was a call from a gentleman who said that, well, in spite of this statement by the NPP, they are actively campaigning on the ground, and we're still looking into that. I will bring you more information on it. But that's top of the list of things we're going to be talking about today. Also, we heard that the CJ, the suspended Chief Justice, has initiated an action at the ECOWAS court in Abuja, Nigeria. And we are going to go into that as well regarding her suspension, some human rights violations, and matters arising. In studios already, my guests, gentlemen, are here and seated. But before we go to them, you can win 1,000 CDs on the show this morning. And today, we're not giving it to just 4 people like we normally do. We're giving 1,000 CDs to 10 of you. 10 of you. That's 10,000 Ghana CDs, which can reduce your bills this morning. All right. 10,000 Ghana CDs going out to you. So just dial *439#. And then select option 2, that's TV3, and you can win. So just keep dialing, okay? *439#, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times is welcome. You can win 1,000 CDs on the show, and it's going out to 10 of you. We also have bonuses. And Roland Walker says it's for coffee, and the bonuses are especially from Roland Walker's account, okay? He's providing 200 CDs each, bonuses for a number of you. It goes to a random number. So you can get it, use it for morning wache or kinke or coffee or Hausa Cocoa and Kose, depending on what you like. All right, gentlemen, you're welcome to the show. All right. He broke a chair? No, he didn't break the chair.
So why did they change your chair?
This chair is more comfortable.
Enjoyment is too much. You're breaking the chair. They've just changed your chair for you.
This chair is more comfortable.
I know you want to set me up for something, but
do not allow.
Wallahi.
We resist it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, we're joined by Dr. Joshua Zato, Senior Lecturer and Political Policy Analyst, University of Ghana. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Welcome to the show. Great to have you.
And nice to meet you. I think this is the first time, right?
Yes, it's the first time we're
that's
meeting
good.
you on the show.
You know, there was false advertising. We promised Roland. You are...
we brought you an upgrade.
That's okay. Agreed. Agreed. But we promised Roland. I just want to put it on record.
The way you smile when you see ladies is different from when you are smiling to Roland.
Because Roland doesn't smile to me.
But I like it when there is a lady.
Roland is always mad and angry at me, but they're always nice and friendly.
Is that so?
This is
still early days.
Unfair comment.
I said, unfair to who?
It's still early days.
I'm telling you how I feel. You say it's unfair.
Anyway.
All right. All right, gentlemen. We're also joined in the studios by Solomon Owusu, Senior Communicator, Movement for Change. Morning, sir.
Morning, and nice being here this morning.
Yes. It's a real pleasure to have you. And our lawyer in the house, Theophilos Jimega. Welcome to the show, sir.
Pleasure.
Great to have you.
It's been a long time since we met.
I know.
Yes.
I know. But I'm glad we're meeting today on the show to discuss these very important issues. So, top of the list is the by-election in Ablekuma North, which is supposed to happen on Friday in 2 days. And yesterday, the General Secretary of the NPP did come out to say that they're not going to participate because there's evidence that their candidate, Nane Kuai-Free, won the elections. And they are not going to participate on Friday. Let's go over and listen to him yesterday during that press conference, and then we'll come back to the studios.
They will not participate in the election rerun.
We're able to collate almost all the polling station results in Ablekuma North, leaving only 3. And therefore, even with respect to a letter that I wrote to the Electoral Commission on the 3rd of June, asking about the update of Ablekuma North, whereby the Electoral Commission confirmed to the New Patriotic Party that indeed it is left with only 3 polling stations. Again, the Electoral Commission, led by Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman, under oath went to Parliament and also confirmed same that so far as they are aware and so far as they know, it is only left with 3 polling stations at Ablekuma North. And therefore, it comes as very shocking that the Electoral Commission, the inconsistency from the Electoral Commission is a shame. But for us in the New Patriotic Party, we remain resolute. And we know that our candidate, Nana Ekuye-Free, won the elections with a margin of 440.
So there you have it. That was a press conference yesterday. It was held in Ablekuma North, and that's the General Secretary for the NPP, Justin Frimpong-Kodia, saying that the NPP will not participate in the rerun because they know for a fact that their candidate, Nana Ekuye-Free, won the elections by some over 400 votes. And so they are not going to participate. Yesterday, live on Ghana Tonight, the NDC, Dr. Tanko Computer, said that they will and are ready to fully participate. And that if the NPP will not participate, it will not be the first time a political party has decided not to participate in an election. And so it's not news, but they will fully participate. Let us know what your thoughts are on this matter. You can reach us with the hashtag TV3 New Day across social media platforms, especially on X, and I'll be happy to read your messages as we go. But in the meantime, for those of you who sent your messages during our this morning segment, which I did not read, I promise I'll read them. I'll read them as we go. I know I made this promise earlier, and so I'll try to stick to it. All right, just the first one. Now, good morning. Please tell Dr. Azeto I said hi. This is from Chief Money, Money, sending that in, and he sent this as soon as you started making your statement earlier. Good morning. Now, the NPP should please give us a break. This is the law of karma. Whatever the NEC boss and her deputies do will go. All right. They will go and need a competent person to hold the portfolio. Okay, they should go and get a competent person to hold that portfolio. And that's from Kotoka Courage, inside Angloga, Lashibi, in the Volta region, sending that in. And good morning. Now, today, the MPP disagrees with the EC. And you send other messages which are not wholesome for morning television, so I'll not read it. And then the last one from Landlord in Bolga D-Line says, good morning, Nine Roland. We are just tired of the NPP and their loose talk. They should stop making it look as if Ghana has lost. For their reckless and wicked governance, their loss in the election should even be celebrated as a win for the country on the 9th of every December. All right. The day of election should be announced by the EC and celebrated as a day of relief, just like the day of independence is celebrated with Soloku. All right, Bolgadi line. Landlord, thank you for sending that in. Gentlemen, this is what the NPP has said. And they said this yesterday during a press conference. Let me start with you, Solomon. What do you make of this?
Good morning. Let me use this opportunity to wish Ebo Bachman and Yellow Man a happy birthday this morning. Now, I wish I wouldn't live to see this day that the NPP in an election involving themselves and other political parties at Ablekuma North is saying they are not taking part. This is very, very surprising to me. You were surprised to hear? I was surprised, and I think those that are leading the party astray. Because it's very simple. If you read our constitution, Article 45C indicates the institution mandated to run an election in this country. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are going to go into the history of why we are where we are today, I don't think they will have any legs to stand on. On the 10th of December, you were in this country when the same Electoral Commission declared Erabila Obi as a winner of the election. I'm sure you were here. Now, fast forward, the same Electoral Commission came back on the 20th and told us that the earlier declaration was null and void. The entire country accepted.
Because it was made under duress.
That is what they said.
That's what they said, yes.
Yes. Then the matter went to court. There was a declaration that there has to be a recollation. You have three interested parties in this whole election. The MPP, the NDC, the Electoral Commission. All of them at this stage are saying that the foundation document based on which you can make a declaration, all of them don't have the originals. So if you are an institution, what would you do? Are you going to rely on a photocopy or a stamped copy or whatever to declare your results? That wouldn't be allowed or be accepted by any other party. So for me, the reasonable thing that should have even been done was to rerun the entire constituency.
The 281 polling stations.
They should have been rerun. The entire constituency.
But some of them were properly verified.
No.
Those pink sheets are available. Why do they need to rerun the entire constituency?
You have photocopies.
For some.
For some. No, yes. Now as we speak, they are telling us that none of their originals exist.
All the 291.
That's what they are telling us. NDC, MPP, Electoral Commission. But you see, to do the rerun, there has to be a caveat that the returning officer for Ablekuma North, together with the presiding officer, must be prosecuted to serve as a future deterrent. Either than that, what is
prosecuted?
Yes, they have to be prosecuted.
For what reason?
I mean, they were. How come they lost the pink sheets?
There was violence.
Have they reported the matter to police? Has it come to your notice that if there was any violence, people illegally?
It was telecast on TV.
Telecasting is different. The legally mandated body to deal with such matters is that when you are attacked, you go to police station to report. Have you heard or seen the Electoral Commission go to the police to report this matter for the police to do an investigation? All we are being told is verbal, that we were attacked. So that if you do not prosecute them, they have to go to court and explain how they lost the pink sheets. Either than that, tomorrow what is going to happen is that if I go into an election and I know very well that I've lost, or I will connive with the Electoral Commissioner or the presiding or the returning officer there to say, get your pink sheets bent, so that there will be a rerun, and that will be a deterrent. I have looked at the constituency as I said, the original declaration was for the NDC. Later, it was cancelled. They say coalition. You go into this man says, I don't trust your pink sheet. Nobody trusts the other's pink sheet. So what would you do? Wouldn't you do a rerun?
But there's a specific number that's in contention. Not the entire 281 are in contention.
No, so now they say 19. Go and do a rerun. That is what they are saying they will do.
Because those 19 were not verified by the EC.
So they say go back, and the people say they won't go. But I don't have a problem. If they are not going, the Electoral Commission must save us. Already we have spent 786 million on this election, the last election. That amount could have faced, what do you call it, in Sawampo for us to be having our peace of mind. You understand? But does it not strike you that now all of us are singing the same tune? That the Electoral Commission is incompetent? This was a political party that when some of us were busy in the run-up to the 2024 elections telling them that these people will lead this country into abyss, they said no. They were competent. You remember the issue of Pusiga, when 38 voters had their votes transferred illegally. It was the same political party that was defending them. So what has changed? That today you say they are not competent. It tells you that we must always and always go for competence. Now, to narrow it down to the various polling stations that are outstanding, the 19, I have looked at it. And that's why I say I'm very surprised that if today the MPP says they will not go into any election involving Ablekuma North, then it's a source of concern. Why are you bringing this Yembobio business?
They say they have evidence that their candidate won.
Which evidence? They are not mandated to declare who won an election. They can express an opinion. The only mandated body to declare who won an election is the Electoral Commission. Has the Electoral Commission told you that their candidate won? They must go. You have an election that involves a polling station at Nyameche. Growing up and knowing the composition of voters in Nyameche, who can convince me that the NPP, if it is well organized, cannot go there and win? Polling stations in Awoshi, NPP is now running away from Bintu. Polling stations in Bintu, the stronghold. then something monumentally wrong somewhere. You see, we have to, if they say they are not going, in all this that they are doing, I believe and I agree with the tester that said that they are on the ground campaigning. That if you say you are not going to take part in an election, you write officially. It's not a word of mouth. As we speak, they have not done so. They are only doing press conferences. Yesterday, I saw them singing, busily singing. We are the new patriotic part. The elephantes are winning symbol. The winning symbol is a go and express the winning symbol there. So that you win the elections and then all of us be free. I am not interested in who is going to win, whether NDC or MPP. What I'm interested in is that the people of Ablekuma North will give this country that candidate, that parliamentarian, who will go and make good laws, make sure that the executive is held in check.
All right.
To our benefit. And not, I won't go when you have not written officially to anybody. But the most important part is that the electoral officers that supervise this election, they must be prosecuted so that this will not repeat itself in future.
For what crime? What exactly is the crime?
How they managed to get the pin sheets missing.
But when you say prosecuted, you mean like charged with a criminal
offense? Yes.
And which offense would that be?
Willful negligence.
Okay.
They have negligence. This is a willful act. I don't believe for a moment that a tag deliberately went to the electoral commissioner or the returning officer, took the pin sheets and bent it. For what reason?
Did you see the broadcast on TV?
I saw everything.
But
I didn't see the bent pin sheet from the EC. Did you see it yourself?
All right. Let me come to Dr. Zato. Do you agree with anything Solomon has said?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
And once again, good morning to you and good morning to all your listeners. I just wanted to start by looking at, by making some points very clear. I have sat on this same table here and also there on key points to defend the Electoral Commission. I have sat there to explain, to defend what they've done, to look at their actions and to try to analyze them. So I wanted to put on record that I have done that over the past, and I've done that, in fact, even as recently as possible. Okay. Because I've tried to look at what it is that they are doing. It's often the case that in Ghana, in this country, ruling parties or the government tend to support the Electoral Commission, whilst opposition parties tend to oppose the Electoral Commission. I have a theory on that, and I've espoused that theory too.
What's your theory?
When you are in opposition, sometimes it's difficult for you to make headlines. When you are in opposition, sometimes it's difficult for you to make the national headlines. So the EC becomes an easy target for almost all opposition parties. When you are attacking the EC, you're able to bring your supporters out. You're able to get your supporters animated, agitated, and you're able to get your supporters around a common target enemy. Your argument becomes very simple. We are winning these elections, but the EC is trying to steal the elections. It gets your supporters fired up. It gets them want to demonstrate. It gets them want to protect what they think they are winning. And it becomes easier for you to organize them for elections. So I think that has helped almost all opposition parties to come to think that the best way to get your people fired up, the best way to get your base fired up, the best way to get your base actually out in campaign is to always be against the Electoral Commission.
That's your theory.
Over the years, you have seen that roller coaster of support for and against the Electoral Commission come in place. So that is my theory about that, and I've espoused that. But in this particular case, I want everybody, we need to sit down and ask ourselves, it's about what we call interest, rational self-interest. What is the interest here? And who are the key players? And what do they seek to achieve? We can ask that question to try to begin to understand that it is about interest. I want to start with the principal players in this game, the Electoral Commission. You conducted an election. And since December up to July, let me say up to June, the Electoral Commission has told us that they have what it takes to announce the results. That they have the pink sheets, they have everything. They said the only thing they need is for the police service to provide them security to announce the results. That is their position. That is their position for about 6 months now. They have been very clear and very categorical that, look, we've got what it takes despite the disruption, despite whatever. We've got everything it takes to declare the results. We know we can do it. There were some alterations, but we have rescued enough data to be able to declare it. give us enough security to do our job. That is their position. And as late as when my own, I want to say senior bossman went to Parliament, he said, rerunning is the last resort. We are not even thinking about that. It's the very last resort on the oath in Parliament. So the EC's position has been that, look, we do not need a rerun. We are absolutely categorically clear that a rerun is not needed. We don't want it. It is not called for. It's unnecessary. That is the EC's position. Ghana Police Service provide us with security and peace, we will declare the results. 1. 2. The other biggest party in this is the National Democratic Congress. They have been very categorical from the beginning that, look, we need a rerun. That the documents we have, their value, their merit has been depreciated. And so we cannot depend on them to run an election. So we need a rerun. That has also been word very clear and very categorical. Up until, let me say, June again. For 6 months, the NDC's position has been that we need to run. 3, the New Patriotic Party has also had a very consistent message that, look, we don't need a rerun, we know we've won, and that we have the documents to announce it. I'm talking about interests and positions. This has been the position of all of them. The case went to court, and the court ruled. The court actually agreed with the EC. And I thought the court actually mandated the Ghana Police Service to help provide peace and security for the 3 remaining police stations so that you can collate them and run. So again, the court has agreed with the request of the EC that, listen, the court haven't listened to all the arguments. The court here be a neutral arbiter. The NDC has a vested interest, the NPP has a vested interest. They went to a neutral arbiter. After hearing everything, the court says, Ghana Police Service provide security and peace and safety for them to declare results. That is the position of all of them. 1, has the Ghana Police Service provided the security and the citizens? Has the Ghana Police Service complied with the court? I don't know about that. Okay, then the question they asked, that was the position of inertia. That's where they all stood. I learned something very, very tiny about forces of movement in secondary school.
Yeah, science?
Yeah, science, physics. I did general aspect. I read his bed. A body at rest continue to be at rest, right? Yeah. And a body in motion continue to be in motion until an external force. You went to.
I did ask.
Oh, sir, I thought you went to Kumasi Legon. Okay, let's go.
Don't ever say Kumasi Legon.
Kumasi Legon. I've said Kumasi Legon. So let's go. Let's come back to this Kumasi Legon.
Your point is.
So the body EC was at rest with their position. Okay. NDC was at rest with their position. AP was at rest with their position. What external force moved the EC to change their position? Why did the EC change their position? All of a sudden, you went to Parliament and you took an oath before the people's representative and you said it's the last resort. Why have you summoned double charge from the opposition to a last resort? What happened? So I'm beginning to look around to say there must have been something. There must have been a force so volcanic, so powerful, so strong to have made the EC move from its own position to this new position.
What's your theory?
Somebody threatened the EC chair and her 2 deputies their jobs.
That's wild.
Somebody said the national chairman of the NDC went on air to say, we will get you people fired. You will lose your jobs. And the EC panicked. The EC says, okay, what do you want? Or what do we think you want? That's my theory again. I'm formulating my theory. My theory is that the external force that compelled the EC to change this position is because somebody dangled their jobs in front of them. Somebody said, I'm going to get you fired. And they did this. My theory then is that the EC officials did this to save their asses. Oh, sorry, pardon my French. To save their jobs. And that they are doing this because they are afraid and they know that, or they believe strongly in that the national chairman of the NDC has the power and can follow through with that threat to move them from their jobs. So give him what he wants. Give the NDC what they want. And that for me, that is why all of a sudden, even though a court said go ahead and let the police, they've disagreed with that, even though their own position consistent for 6 months. I want us to always understand that fact. For 6 months has been that no run is run. They have changed all of a sudden. They have metamorphosed. They have moved from no, we won't do a rerun to yes, we'll do it. My theory is that a force so big threatened them, and that force, I think, is the NDC chairman saying that you will lose your jobs. And so they are doing it. Then,
so this is to what?
To appease the NDC so that they won't remove them from the job. That is my theory.
You're saying they did a 360 from their statement in Parliament?
They did, yes, they did.
For the purposes of securing their jobs?
That's not my theory.
That's your theory?
Yes. My theory is that this 360 move they've seen, this approach and this somersault they've done, this flip-flopping they have done is to save their behinds, is to save their jobs. That's my theory. Then the question becomes, it serves a very bad precedence, like what Solomon was saying. Because what you have done is also a reward for the tax that disrupted the country.
A reward? A
reward for those tax, for the people. Because, again, on TV we saw that people disrupted it, the country. Today you are rewarding those people. Why did they disrupt it? Not only they disrupted the counting or the verification because they either thought they were losing, because if you are winning, you won't disrupt it. If you are winning an election, you want it to go clean so that your candidate is disrupted. The only reason why you would disrupt an election is if you feel or if you think that you're losing. Today, by giving them all they want, you are rewarding the tax that disrupted elections. Then the question then is that it has a potential cascading effect. Going forward, losing candidates may think that, oh, this is the best way to disrupt the election and to have a rerun. Losing candidates may be emboldened. Or political tax. Remember, this country, we have to deal with political thuggery. Political tax may now begin to think that, or political parties in and of themselves may begin to think that we have discovered a new way of winning elections. Thuggery. Send tax to disrupt a coalition if we are losing and win. That is a bad precedent for the future. And as election, and since our democracy is based on this, we need to find a way to make sure that we protect the electoral process. Rewarding tax is not that. Then finally, I begin to try to understand then, what does it say for all of us as we keep moving to electoral areas? We need to find a way to, one, reduce violence at polling stations. We need to find ways to reduce thuggery at polling stations. We need to find ways to make it happen. Because this is a bad precedent, and if we let it happen going forward, our electoral processes may be mad forever.
Interesting theory there, and I have so many messages coming in on this theory that you have just propounded, that external force that might have made the EC change their position must have been a threat of job losses.
Yes.
For the EC boss.
Yes, bosses.
The EC bosses. I'll read them in a moment, but let's make sure that we've heard from everybody before I go back to the messages. I'll come to you, Theophilus. Let's talk about the decision of the EC to rerun the elections vis-a-vis the court decision on January 4th, that the EC should collate and declare the results.
Let me go it this way. Let me say good morning to your viewers, wherever they find themselves. Let me correct a few things from Dr. Zato's presentation. Asiedu Nketia, the chairman of NDC, is not in opposition. His initial theory is that the opposition parties may hit the EC to become relevant. Then the new theory becomes somebody who is not in opposition has now said they will lose their jobs.
So there are two theories are propounded.
Yes.
Okay.
There are
theories,
so
two
it's
separate
valid.
theories.
I said that. There are
theories that are directly opposite each other, that had not been tested, should not be taken so serious. Let's go to the law. Okay. Now, the EC says, the court says that the EC should collate 62 polling stations. 62, not 3, not 19. 62 polling stations, and add them to those that have been collated. And the court says that this should be done on or before 6 January 2025. We are in June. That order by the court, we are in July. That order by the court has lapsed. That order is not existing today because it gave a specific time for it to be obeyed, and that has passed.
What does that mean?
It has expired. So the order to collate by 6th of June is not there. That order is not subsisting as we talk today.
So it need not be complied with?
No, not today. Now, if it had not been complied with...
Is that the position of the law?
That's the position of the law.
Okay.
Now, if it had not been complied with, then the NPP knows what to do. When you don't comply with the order of the court, what do? You start for contempt. and you go to court. As we are talking now, 2 processes have been filed. I have seen 2 applications. One for certiorari and prohibition. Certiorari to quash the order or the decision by the EC to go for the rerun, and the prohibition to prohibit them from going ahead. Now, the law is also clear. If there are other remedies for you, such as going for contempt, certiorari will not lie. So I don't know why they went for certiorari. Then if you look at the whole application...
But they have not brought contempt proceedings.
No. So they should have gone for that. So if there is a remedy for you, you should go for that remedy rather than coming for certiorari. That's the position of the law. If there is another remedy for you, you should go for that remedy. Now, the other thing is that if you look at the whole application, it appears to be an enforcement that has been dressed as if they are going for certiorari. I have also seen another application that they are moving today, an ex parte application to injunct the Electoral Commission. That has also been flying around. So let us come back to where we are today.
But their candidate has also, Nanukia Ifriye, has also brought an action. I think she brought an action on Tuesday. Was it on Tuesday?
That's the injunction application.
Yes, that was from the candidate.
Yes, that was the injunction application. That is an ex parte injunction application.
Okay.
But I can tell you, because it is all over the place, there will be friends of the court, lawyers who are friends, amicus curiae, will be in court today to also talk to that. Now, fast forward, the 62 that are supposed to be collated, MPP was able to produce scanned pink sheets, yet they could not produce the source document of those scanned pink sheets. Produce the source document, you cannot produce
You mean
them.
the carbon copies?
No, scanned copies. They scan them and they produce electronic copies of the document. He is aware. Now, my brother said something about prosecution. You see, part of the law says that all declarations should be posted at the polling stations. The reasoning behind this could be you could take a picture of it. He could take a picture. I can take a picture. So when there's a confusion such as this, all of us could bring ours to say, I took this picture, you took this picture, and we could compare that and make a declaration. That didn't happen. I think that it is high time some of these electoral infractions are dealt with. Prosecution must come in. I think so. It's high time. Now, he also goes on to say this is the situation where tags will be rewarded. Now, the Electoral Commission said they declared under duress. Who declares something? Who says you had duress? Apart from court, you cannot just sit down and say, I did this under duress. You can say it, but who will accept it? It's a court of competent jurisdiction. That didn't happen. So we had a situation in 1992. NPP boycotted the election. We went ahead and had the election. Ayawaso West Wugon 2019. Somewhere along the line, NDC boycotted. What happened? The elections went ahead. If they boycott Ablekuma North today, the elections will go ahead. Nobody will say that. I am surprised that today, NPP is now running to the international community to say, come and see what is happening. Few months ago, I don't believe in his theory.
Yeah. I was just about to suggest his theory to you. The theory you just rebutted.
No, I don't.
It begins to sound like you are.
No, a theory which has not been tested cannot be accepted.
Be going along.
A theory which has not been tested cannot be accepted. We have never.
It's based on observances.
No, but he can't say the same thing when Afarajan was in office. When Afarajan was in office, if you watch a lot of the scenes, the videos through that period, all the parties appear to embrace him. So his theory cannot be
all the parties appeared.
Yes.
To embrace it.
To embrace him. Yes. Okay. When he was. So it cannot be his theory breaks down.
It's not true. The NDC.
Sir, when you were talking, I was quiet like a kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
Allow me that opportunity.
When I was also talking,
yes, I was very patient. So
because he hadn't spoken at the time.
Yes.
But I'll come back to Dr.
Yes.
So if you want to rebut anything.
Yes,
that he has
but so
we have a lot of rebuttals.
Yes, we'll come to you too.
At this stage where we are now, the election will go ahead. I pray that today that injunction will be dismissed and the election will go ahead. NDC is currently in the constituency campaigning. Our posters are all over the place. We hope that with the current situation, the wind blowing in the country, we're going to win that seat and have it safe. But
which wind is blowing?
Oh, you know it. I mean,
I don't know any wind.
Oh, good. Let me tell you, prices of goods are coming down. fuel prices are coming down, the general peace in the country.
What has that got to do with Ablekuma North?
They are also Ghanaians. They will feel it. Those are some of the things that will determine who wins the seat. I am telling you, so they are also feeling it. So what the people are enjoying is one of the reasons why they are running away from going ahead to contest. This thing about Solomon says something, that used to be their stronghold. Why are they running away? If everything is rosy, why are they running away? They should just get there and go ahead, and we conduct the election come 11 days from now. So for me, I want to say that whether they boycott or not,
it's 2 days from now.
2 days from now, whether they boycott or not, the election will come on, and NDC is poised to take the seat.
Because you referred to history and some other elections which a party had boycotted, from your opinion as a legal practitioner, what is the legitimacy or validity of results from an election where a major party decides not to participate or boycott because of legal issues?
No, there is an avenue. You see, the law provides that if there is an avenue to seek a redress, you use just that avenue.
Okay.
The avenue to see a redress if there is a legal issue is the court. So if you have an issue with it, you go to court.
Which they have done.
Yes, and no, they've done which has expired. You are talking about them boycotting the next election. What is the legality or justification
I'm talking
for that?
about this election on Friday.
On Friday, yes. So they are going to court now. So let's wait the outcome of that court proceeding. If it goes against them and they decide to boycott, you can't cry. Because the only avenue for you to vent your frustration is the court. And you go to court and the court says, go ahead and go and have the election. You cannot cry again. You just have to go and take part.
All right, I'll come back to you now, Solomon. You have a lot of rebuttals to what Dr. Zato said.
Not too much. I mean, it's very refreshing that today Zato and I are agreeing that indeed the Electoral Commission or the commissioners must go. I mean, you cannot, as it were, with this despicable, abysmal performance, continue to be at position after anything. If we were in a country that respected ourselves, this morning, the commissioners should have even tendered in their resignation letters. What are we discussing? What saddens my heart is that they continue to draw salaries from the state. After all these, they were supposed to paste the results of the various polling stations at the polling stations. Is it not one of the requirements under the CI 127? Go to all the polling stations, as Theo was saying, whether they have a single of these pin sheets pasted. It's a deliberate act. Nobody attacked them and took any pin sheet. Nobody.
When you say that, it's in direct conflict with what we saw happen live.
What you saw was chaotic situation.
We had our reporters present.
And your reporter saw someone slashing the pin sheet from the EC. Is that what you're telling me?
That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that let's not speak as though there was no violence.
No. You are missing the point. Okay. There are two issues here. Now we are being told, the EC is telling us, the referee that organized the match is telling us that it has its pin sheet based upon which it can make any declaration is missing.
Yes.
Why is it missing? Say tax attacked them and took it away. And I'm asking whether your reporters that were on the field or on the ground saw tax actually go for the pin sheet. And if a tag attacks you, don't you report the matter to police? You understand? In any case, this whole business of what and how the NPP leadership, especially the general secretary and the organizer are doing, is to reassure the members of the party that now in opposition, they are fighting. Who would believe that? You have gone into an election that you claim you won the election by some 400 and something votes. Is that not the case? Now, the same constituency, the same voter register, you may have one or two people who are now no more with us, or who might have left the constituency. The same situation affects both sides. Go back and re-establish yourself, your authority on that constituency, that indeed any given day, time, hour, if we are called upon to do a rerun in Ablekuma North, we will still win. You are saying you are not going to take part. Where from this? Now, as an opposition party, wouldn't that even re-engineer or reinvigorate the base of your party that in spite of your abysmal performance in the last elections, you still have your base intact, and that given any time you can still recapture your strongholds? What sort of political strategy is this?
And his theory confirms that.
You understand?
The base should be...
What is this? Look, the last time there was a match at the Accra Sports Stadium, that was about 2011. You remember Jerry Asari? Maybe you don't like football, so you don't know him. Kotoko was playing a match. The man went and catch the football and said, "Yeah, mobile." He talked about catching the ball, the match that they will give the points to Kotoko. When the match was done, Kotoko was even banned on top of that. If the NPP says, "Woman mobile," if they are not going to contest, they must leave us peacefully. If there was any opportunity that we could present or fill the movement for change member in this election, we would have been there immediately to contest the National Democratic Congress. Why? Do you want to deny the people of Ablekuma North the opportunity of having a representative, as was done to the people of Sa? No, we cannot continue like that. 19 polling stations, let the elders of the party, the NPP, come out boldly and strongly. Let those that wish the party will come out boldly and call these young guys out, those that are leading the party astray, that they are destroying the one beautiful party. As a movement for change member that is very soon turning into a political party, I don't wish them collapse. I want to see them survive. But the point is that the right thing must be done.
Yeah, but those statements are, it's the party's position.
Which party's?
It's the position of the party. It's not a position of the young guys who... They speak for the party.
They speak for the party?
Yes.
That is their position. So the position is that a referee says the match that was organized, there were infractions, there was rain that called it off, come back and let's play. You say you are not playing. And this morning I even listened to the General Secretary. He was even warning that should they see their candidate's picture on the ballot, they are going to sue the electoral commissioner. The mere fact that the picture will be on the ballot will amount to a court process. So please, let them come clear. Let them write to the Electoral Commission if indeed they mean business, so that declaration, or how do they call it? Is it oh, give me the term.
What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're trying to
acclamation
say.
or whatever.
Yes, acclamation.
Let them go and acclaim the NDC candidate and let us move on.
Right. Okay.
You will be okay.
Okay. Dr. Zato, you wanted to rebut something that Theophilo said earlier.
No, I'm not rebutting. I'll just let
it.
No, but the this point I want to make, okay? Principles matter. Integrity matter. As an institution, you need to exhume both all the time. As an institution, you need to be able to let people know that when you make decisions, you mean them and you believe them. As an institution, people must not actually only believe in the decision you make, but also how you got there. And principles and core concepts are worth fighting for. It's not even worth dying for, because if you are an arbiter in a strongly contested political process, people must be able to bank on your words. People must be able to bank on your concepts. People must be able to say that if the EC says this, we can take it to the bank. What the EC has shown or has demonstrated in this particular case is fair weather leadership. And that kind of fair weather leadership is not good for a body vested with so much powers and a body that has our democracy in their hands. Fair weather leadership is a betrayal. Fair weather leadership is a sell-off. And I think the EC has not served the people of this country very well in this particular instance. Because they have shown that they lack principles, they have shown that they cannot stick to it when the kitchen gets too hot, that they easily bend over. And that is no good leadership. And I'm saying this because, again, remember I started by saying that I have sat here, there, and everywhere to defend the EC. But on this particular issue, because look,
I warn you,
fight for your principles, fight for your ideas to the very end. Let it be known that you took this position and you stood by it. Especially considering the political implications, ramifications. Look, from a political standpoint, the NDC doesn't need this seat. I can say that. It doesn't do anything to their majority in the House. The MPP doesn't need this seat. It doesn't change any of the calculations in the House. It doesn't. But this was done when, I can imagine if it was a consequential seat. And by consequential seat, like, remember the last parliament, where you could say that any seat becomes very consequential. It's not a consequential seat. If you buckle under pressure from a non-consequential seat, then what would you do when the heat is higher than this?
Well, all right. I think this this is a good
All
time
of
to
them
read.
had
Yes, I
two
will come to
chances,
you.
yes.
Let me just read a few messages coming in, and then I'll come to you, and then you can also share your thoughts on their thoughts. Okay, now, can you please just tell these NPP people that if they are trying to win the sympathy of Ghanaians, it's something that will never come back. They lost it a long time ago. Musa Abatwa and Asawasi says, now I completely agree with Solomon Owusu. The Electoral Commission has indeed demonstrated enough incompetence to warrant their removal. How can a presiding officer lose the copy of the original pink sheet? This is not just negligence. It appears to be a deliberate ploy to create confusion and give undue advantage to a particular party. The NPP's decision to boycott the rerun is a lazy and unpatriotic approach. If you truly believe in democracy, you don't run away when the system calls for transparency. You engage and demand fairness. Ghana deserves better, okay? My sister, what kind of analysis or so-called theory is Dr. Zato presenting? This is my humble question, please. What is making the NPP afraid of an election in their own stronghold? The EC boss and her deputies will definitely go, period. And that's from Kotoka Courage, texting from Angloga in Lashibi. Prince Henry says, the NPP knew from the beginning that they had lost the Ablekuma North election. So I'm amazed at their posture now. Now, is Dr. Zato saying that the NPP was using their position as a party in government for the EC to be doing their bid? Okay. Since when did he develop this theory? All right. And that's from Kalio Man, texting from Wa. And Francisca, all right. This cannot go live on TV at this time of the day. Okay. I read some more of your messages. You can keep them coming in. Hashtag TV3 New Day. I read them as we go. Theophilus.
Yes, I'll have only a few things to comment on.
Okay.
Currently, it appears that Dr. Zato and MPP had agreed with Solomon, NDC chairman, with Kofi Bentil, that the EC is not fit for purpose. So they must go. A lot of your viewers are also sharing the same thought. Now, a theory which has not been tested by any notoriously recognized theorist has no name. Dr. Zato could not give us the name of the theories he's using. But the bigger picture is that NDC only compromised on part of the 62 original polling stations that the court asked to be collated, so as to allow about 37, so as to allow the process to continue. If you take 37 out of 62, NDC has not compromised on the others to be allowed to continue. So in effect, if we are really to rerun this, it should have been 37, not 19. Now, as at now, if MPP had won those polling stations, which are going to be rerun, then they should be confident that they are going to win those seats. They just need a little bit of effort to win it. Perhaps they might have lost those polling stations, and realizing that they have lost those polling stations, going forward they will lose again. He made a statement to say, what will it make to NDC's numbers if they take... No, there's something called social victory.
Social victory.
Victory, yes. It gives your people around you happiness that victory has come to us. Now, what will it make for MPP if they lose that seat? It will make them come to the level of majority. So better they also forget about it and allow NDC to win it and add to their numbers. Okay. That way, maybe we'll extend it to the others that will come in the other one that will come in the next few months. So for now, everybody is saying, go and take part in the election. If you believe that you can win.
Everybody is saying it.
Everybody's, I mean, you have seen it from the messages you are reading.
Okay.
A good majority of your viewers are saying, why is MPP running away? If they believe in themselves, go. And indeed, you see, he made a point. You were in government when the election was held. You couldn't provide protection for the collation of those results. I mean, how then do we allow you to rule? You were in government. You were supposed to be the people to provide protection for the collation and the election processes. You couldn't do that. And you are here crying, no, we cannot forgive you for that. For this reason, come to Ablekuma North 2 days from now. Let us fight it out. And I believe come that day, we are not being complacent.
All right.
NDC will pick it.
All right. I think it's a good time to move on to our second topic for the morning. It's the latest in the matter of the suspended Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu. Yesterday, we saw that the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Remsai, posted on his socials that the Chief Justice of Ghana has filed a fresh application at the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice in Abuja, Nigeria. And she is seeking redress for her suspension and the processes initiated for her removal. Now, this is the latest in a long legal battle since we first heard about the decision to suspend the Chief Justice. She cited many reasons. We saw a live press conference where she spoke about some violations and things that have not been done in accordance with the law. We don't have as much time to discuss this as we did the first topic. So I'm going to first go to our lawyer here just to find out, since we had this announcement, we've had comments back and forth about the fact that since she has not, let's say, exhausted all local remedies, she brought an action to the High Court, to the Supreme Court. Is it necessary for her to go to the ECOWAS Community Court in Nigeria when the local remedies have not been fully exhausted?
I've always maintained that I don't know the counsel that the suspended Chief Justice has. I saw somewhere that my respected senior, the former Attorney General, the one who was the...
Godfrey Dame.
No, the one who was the ambassador to Canada, the High Commissioner to Canada, Ayukwe Otu was his lawyer, her lawyer. Very fine lawyer. I believe he will give all the advice. Now, as you rightly stated, the local remedies have not been exhausted. We have precedents. Justice Derry and the rest went to ECOWAS court. They were thrown out. Now, she's in court on human rights issues. She's at the High Court. That has not been determined. And you went to the ECOWAS court. Now, she's claiming, the Deputy Attorney General's writing, that the suspension effectively means she's been removed from office. Now, is she aware of something the rest of us are not aware of? I don't know. But the Constitution says that the President has that discretion to ask you to suspend the Chief Justice and reinstate the Chief Justice when the President feels it is okay for it to be done.
Let me just read that out to you.
Yeah.
Essentially, her ladyship argues that by her suspension, she has effectively been removed from her official capacity without a final determination, impairing her rights to function and serve in the position she was constitutionally appointed to.
Yes, so it is the same Constitution that allows the President the discretion to suspend the Chief Justice pending the whole process. So where are we getting to with this thing? I am of the view, so she's in effect saying that she has been constructively dismissed. It is not like...
She's saying her suspension
looks like she's been...
removes her.
Yes,
it
so,
looks like...
Yes, so that's constructive dismissal or removal. That has not happened. So far, the procedure has been very good. Everybody... Look, with the fight that the suspended CJ is putting up, and with this latest one, I'm asking myself, is she aware of something out of what has happened so far at the proceedings that we don't know? If that is the situation, then she should better tell us. But to go to, I believe strongly, and without any shred of doubt, that ECOWAS court will throw this out. Now, there are so much, the whole of chapter 5 of our Constitution is on human rights. That has not been exhausted. The Chief Justice has been given the right to fair hearing. Anything she has challenged at the Supreme Court of Ghana has been dismissed. So what is she going to stand on at the ECOWAS Court of Justice to say, this is the reason why I'm here?
Do you agree with some of her concerns? For example, she wants to be allowed to bring in her family or people to support her during the hearings. She should be served by the committee with a petition and so on. These are things that she's asked for.
You see, unfortunately, she responded to the petition when she asked for it and the president gave her 10 days. So it's the same petition, if my memory serves me right. So for you to go back now and say, give me the petition.
She doesn't dispute the fact that the president gives her.
So she wants a different petition?
Just to be sure that the petition that the committee is using is the same one that the president has given to her.
You know, and I know that when she goes for the committee's hearing, they will read whatever it is. She has a copy. She can compare with what they give her. So that is neither here nor there. The Constitution says that under Article 146, all proceedings here shall be held in camera. It doesn't make room for your husband or your wife. It doesn't. The purpose is not to
What
protect.
does in-camera mean? I thought it's supposed to be private, so away from the press and people who are not
Exactly.
concerned. Does it also include people who are just there to support you?
No. How do we know who is there to support? Somebody else will come again. If I go there, I also want to support her. Would I be allowed? If Solomon goes that he wants to support her, will he be allowed? And there are 20,000 people going that we want to support her. Would they all be allowed?
Okay.
Would that still be in camera? No, in camera. Look, that clause does not lend itself to any ambiguity. It's very clear, straightforward. There's no ambiguity about that. It says that let all proceedings under this be held in camera. She has the right to a counsel. The counsel accompanies her. If the husband were her counsel, I would understand that your husband is your counsel to accompany you. You see, the in-camera hearing is not for just the person. It is for the witnesses, the committee members, etc. And that position is not her personal position. She will move on one day. She will move on, either by resignation, by removal, by retirement, whichever way, she will move on. But we don't have to set a precedent for which somebody else will fall on. But the bigger picture is that, you see, when we had a Tufo versus Attorney General, the Supreme Court somehow protected one of their own. We have the IBAN case. The Supreme Court somehow protected one of their own. We had the Aqua case. The Supreme Court somehow, that's what gave us to the Ajay Chum case. Now, this time we have a 3-2, we have a 4-1, we have a 5-0. Then you took your colleagues on to the Supreme Court. Now let's be serious here. If she comes back, granted she will come back. If she comes back, how easy will it be to work with the people you have been fighting? And you see somewhere along the...
It's within her rights to have,
yes, it is.
Brought those
now,
actions.
The Bible says everything is allowed unto man, but the end is what justifies. You go to Supreme Court and they mention your name, that Her Ladyship Justice Araba Saki Tokono, by a clerk, and she turns to the judges and say that the applicant is here. The clerk that when you were in office, walking to your office, would have even been lying on the floor for you to walk on, now calls you. I mean, somewhere along the line, you must be saying that it's good to be brave, but on this occasion, I want to be a coward to preserve your dignity. That I would do. If I were a counsel, I would advise that certain parts of the fight are needless. Let's go for the real fight and leave the other periphery. But what we are seeing today doesn't look like that. Now, listen to what your viewers will be writing on this issue. When we begin to read, you begin to read, about 5 of them, we won't know where this is heading. But I believe strongly that the ECOWAS court will throw out this application.
All right. Dr. Zato.
Thank you. You know, this one I think I should be a soothsayer or something. I should be a soothsayer because it's like I have the power to see things.
You have another theory?
Yeah, I've stated it here again. Every time I stated here categorically that the Chief Justice was a means to an end. The end being the removal of the Electoral Commission officials. I've stated that here. And people can Google and listen. I said that she was in the way. In fact, my theory actually was that the president was not in favor of removing the Chief Justice, but that the hawks within the NDC have won, and that she's moving here just to get to the officials. Today, they see, and I also sat here and I said that the CJ said gone. I've said that again, it's on air, that she's gone. That the only reason why she will go back to the office is probably she forgot her purse or her phone charger there. She's going to pick it. Even though she's not going. I've also said that here. Now, remember when I said that probably a force so big probably forced the EC official to buckle and to bend over? This is the force. The force also read the leave line like, this woman is gone. And then we are next. The EC official like, this woman is gone and we are next. So they now agree that let's play ball, let's bend over, let's flip-flop to save our jobs. Too late. Because that is how it's all coming. Because the woman is basically saying that, going to ECOWAS court to say that, I'm gone, I'm not coming back. The EC officials have seen it like, oh, okay, she's gone, she's not coming back. So let's try to play ball. And that is what I'm saying. Where is the integrity? Where is the fairness? Where are the principles? I've also said that I believe in this woman's fight. I believe we should go to the farthest. In fact, she shouldn't just stop there. She should go to the UN If it is possible, if there's any forum, we should go there. And talking about the UN, you do see the story that Ghana abstained from voting for the UN Council on gay rights?
In fact, that is not what happened.
It's a UN Council.
That is not what happened.
Again,
What happened is that they abstained from extension of the mandate of the independent expert on gender, children, and human rights, not on LGBT. Let's get it with that.
That office was created to protect LGBTQ rights all over the world. That is the purpose of that office. It was created to promote and to protect the interests of LGBTQ community all over the world. I agree with you. It's a special council.
Back to the matter.
If you are a country that you so oppose this, why don't you have the moral courage to stand and vote and raise your hand and say no? Or why don't you say yes? Why abstain? In times of great moral crisis, the deepest places of hell are left for those who remain uncompetent, who claim neutrality.
Back to the matter.
Thank you. So my theory, or my final end is this. The woman has agreed that she's gone. She knows she's gone. The EC officials are reading the leaflets, and they also
Did she tell you that she agreed?
No, I've told you that I'm reading the leaflet. We all see that. I'm just saying that. But
yes,
just as you can.
So she hasn't agreed that she's gone.
No, she's fighting it. No, well, what she's saying is that her suspending basically means she's not going back. That's what she's literally telling the ECOWAS court.
So that is why she's seeking redress.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I have sat here and have said categorically that she's gone. I've said it. I hope it's not in contempt of the process, is it?
No.
Okay, good. No. So long as it's not, I'm allowed to express, Solomon, nobody wants to go to jail. I don't want to get, hey, committee says you've done, no. So that's my argument. That's my theory. And then coming events cast their shadow. And sometimes they can cast very long shadows. So anybody that sits down and say, if the EC can, if the CJ chair can be removed, if the CJ is being removed, then what about us? When you go to the forest and you see the stones burning, you don't stand to ask what happened or what is happening to the trees. Thank you.
Okay, so the stones here being the EC?
A word to the wise.
So that's the third theory.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around. Yeah, it's been a morning of theories and proverbs. But let's come to you, Solomon. What do you make of all of this?
So first of all, let us put it on record that the Electoral Commission, that's the commissioners, if they will go, they will not go because of politics. They will go because they are incompetent. It's as simple as that. You just alluded to the fact that they are not competent. So if they will go, what's the big deal about that? And you see, as a country, we must develop that culture of firing people when they are not performing. It must not be difficult. I have heard a lot of people say that it must be difficult to remove the Chief Justice. It must be the easiest thing to do.
Why?
So that when you go and have a recalcitrant Chief Justice, because it's difficult, then the person is there. In the same way it's easy to appoint, it must be easy to fire. As simple as that. When this matter started, I preferred an advice, a layman's advice. Theo and his people, they call themselves learned. We are unlearned.
Agree.
I sat here and I said, from my village sense, Madam, just go and negotiate your exit. Take a cue from A. Fortas of the U.S. as Supreme Court judge and leave the scene.
You don't think she should fight?
What is she fighting for? She's all over the place. As we speak, she has a matter before the Supreme Court of Ghana. Are you aware of that? She has a matter before the High Court of Ghana. My own sister, Janet Nabla, I don't know her interest. She bought a flight from Accra to Kumasi, slept in a hotel, and went and petitioned Otunfo on behalf of Justice Tokonu. Now, would you use your own money to do that? Let's think aloud. Now she has moved the stage to where? ECOWAS. Abuja. I don't know those that are briefing here, whether they have history behind them. Abuja is not in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know Justice Walter Onojin? Justice Walter Onojin?
Who is that?
He was the Chief Justice of Nigeria in 2016. By 2019, Buhari had booted him out. The court of ECOWAS Community Court was very close. Abuja, in fact, he could walk to Abuja, walk to the ECOWAS Community Court and say, my rights have been violated. He processed it. Onojin said, I won't go anywhere. I have accepted. He fought it in court. In fact, in 2024, Onojin won the case at a peace court. I don't know who is advising. ECOWAS Community Court, only 2nd July, a very judge called Eliam Pote, retired magistrate court judge called Eliam Pote. He's an Ivorian. You, after retiring, went back and said his rights were violated. And so the country, Ivory Coast, must pay a huge sums of money. They threw the case out like they were throwing it into the bin. They have even asked Pote to pay all the expenses for certain allowances and so for the judges. And with the ECOWAS court, when you go and lose, that's it. There's no room for appeal. Madam, for the last time, I'm saying come back home. Let's get the elders and negotiate.
At this stage, she cannot negotiate.
And everything is possible.
And at this stage, I think, in fact, from the very beginning, I've also said it. You remember, I said, no negotiation, go for it. Don't resign and don't negotiate anything. Don't.
She should go.
There is a concerted effort by people. Remember,
But you are taking my time.
You said don't resign.
Don't resign.
And don't do anything.
That told them
fight it in court.
She should fight
Go
it in
ahead
court.
to the end.
You see, in our history,
Okay.
look,
Take it
Because
to the
wait,
very end. In fact,
in our history,
after the UN,
she can go anywhere. But let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Let's Solo finish.
So granted, this woman even wins her legal battles. Will she be able to go back to the judiciary that she has bastardized? Now she is even impugning the integrity of her colleagues. Article 1468, what does it say? That all proceedings must be held in camera. This woman looked straight into you and our faces and flouted the constitution of this country. Lawless.
How did she flout it?
Don't speak in public about a matter that you are before.
Theophilus, does the Constitution say that the proceedings should be held in camera, or all matters regarding the issue?
But what did she come to do?
Discussed in camera. No, I'm asking about the legal position.
All proceedings under this article
should be held in camera. Does that include discussing the matter?
Yes, Ajay Chum once said
Okay.
that the petition was published.
Okay.
That was why they held that it cannot go forward. And if you remember when Professor Kweku Asare, yes, petitioned Nana Akufo-Addo, one of the reasons why Nana Akufo-Addo, the former president, dismissed that was that he published the petition.
Absolutely.
So the press conference which was held was flouting a constitutional
Exactly.
provision.
Absolutely. But now
Yes,
you should have been
without-
cited for contempt.
Not only contempt, it's even enough grounds for another petition.
Absolutely.
For her removal.
No, so if that matter is not dealt with, any matter that is in court, I'll be commenting on it. Because she has opened the floodgate. That is the Chief Justice of the land. We go before these courts and we submit ourselves to them. Because they are there by virtue of the operation of the Constitution. So if the Constitution says don't do A, B, C, D, and you come and do it. Now, who is speaking for the committee members? Now, we are missing a certain point. We are treating this matter as though those that petition, they don't know their left from right. I have said a countless number that Mr. Daniel Ofori is not an easy-go person in this country. I don't think more than half of Ghanaians have more investment in this country than Mr. Ofori for him to be used for do someone's bidding. He invests in businesses in this country, and he will be the first person to wish for the cleanup of the judiciary. But when we are talking about this matter, as though they went on the street and looked for people who would just go and petition and get the Chief Justice out of the place. Madam, if you are not going to take my advice, just go and face the committee. All the legal issues that you are raising. If a due lodge is not good for you, they can find another place. And by virtue of that, if the committee also accepts, I have said that anytime that I go to the High Court, my great-great-grandfather, Nanedu, he had a terrible incident where the High Court is. So anytime I'm called to go to that court there, and I remember that I'm shaking. But I can't do anything about it. I've been called. The woman said the husband was not allowed into the hall. So that is enough grounds. Yes, maybe when the husband is not by her, she cannot deliver. But the question you ask yourself is that anytime she is writing her rulings, is the husband by her?
Or anytime she's sitting at the Supreme Court.
Is the husband by her? No, we cannot trivialize some of these matters. That she was searched. Whenever you are going to a security zone, are you not your phones taken? Are your phones not taken from you? Are you not searched? When we are even traveling out of this country, sometimes we don't take it, they will even remove your boxes because of Osama bin Laden. So please, let us not trivialize this matter. If she means to do business and go, and at this stage, if she wants to go, I'm here. Ask for lawyers. They know how to write. They know how to petition. You go. But at the end of the day, you would understand why it is always good to take a bow, early bow.
All right. Dr. Zato, before I come to you, let me just read a few messages coming in. Now, please tell Solomon that I want him to be the flag bearer for the movement for change. All right. None of the theories by the senior lecturer holds any weight. All right. And that's from Pajo, texting us from Soto. Now, please tell Dr. Zato that the same strategy was used to remove the EC in 2017. Let me ask him this. Is the seat her personal inheritance? That's from Great Child, texting from Spintex Road. Now, that political... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Sadam, why give space to the NP... Okay, all right. Okay, I think I'm going to come to you, Dr. Zato. I'll come back to the messages in a moment. People are very passionate in their messages this morning.
I know. They're all against me. It's normal. I get it. That's the norm.
I didn't say that.
I know.
Okay, go on.
It's the norm. I'm used to it. Let me just make this point. He corrected me on something, and I want to agree. Yes. The vote was as the UN Human Rights Council. So they're not the whole UN. As per the Human Rights Council, the mandate of the council is to remind states of their obligation to respect, protect, and fulfill the rights of people with diverse sexual orientation and gender identities. So yes, the vote was to empower the UN Human Rights Council to go out there and protect and force countries to protect people, to protect the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
That is the council where the government of Ghana abstained from voting.
Okay.
I believe that they should have to extend the mandate to protect them. No. I thought that we should have taken a moral stand, we have taken a legal stand, we should have voted against. I'm saying that. That's my position.
We are not discussing that today.
Thank you, sorry.
So let's come back to the
discussion. So you all have to have a
let's go back to the issue.
Because we have to go into the matter of LGBTQ.
We are not going to do that today.
Why did not sign that
We are not going to do that
bill
today, Solomon. All right, Dr. Zato, let's go.
Thank you. So again, as I've said, this CJ issue is simple and straightforward, and I have said it, that if you look at the whole processes, there are legal obligations all along the way. The president is mandated by the constitution to do certain things. Mm-hmm. And they're all laid out there. I don't have qualms about them, and not being a student of law, I don't understand, I know them very well. But there are also political issues, political calculations, discretions and indiscretions that are made. And again, my point has been that these have been done and exploited and used very well in the process. My final thing is this, that because I'm saying this and I've said it, I don't want to sound so bored when I'm saying it. This process is over. I think the country should start looking for a new CJ. This one will be gone, but I hope that whatever legacy these legal cases leave, whatever legacy these rulings leave, will help us better. There's a constitutional reform committee going on, and I hope they're also looking at what is happening to see what other protections, if they needed be, they can bring to the process. Parliament has said that they've seen that there are certain flaws with the process, there are certain things wrong with the process, and that they will amend certain laws that will take it. I'm happy that they've also seen it and they are doing that. The Ghana Bar Association has also made their positions clear. At the end of the day, my hope and prayer is that tomorrow we don't find ourselves sitting here. But history tells me, from path dependency theory, that we will be here again. That another government will come and then they will remove a chief justice. This is not the last time we've seen it under this administration. That's what history tells me, and that's what insights from path dependency theory.
The new chief justice who will be appointed will be removed.
If the new government comes, yeah, I'm sure they will.
That's
the government that is protesting the removal of a chief justice will now come in and now remove a chief justice. That's theory number 4. Again,
yes,
as I said, but you see, Dr. Zato, let me correct something. An appointed person cannot have a security of tenure stronger than an elected person. That does not happen. So wherever you find yourself, you must know that your tenure has a limitation based on whoever has appointed you. That you must know. He can remove you if you are appointed today as the MD here by maybe the board. You cannot have a time bigger than that of the board. They might remove you tomorrow morning. But again, the theories, Dr. Zato, let's get this clear. GBA's position initially was that the procedure that the process is going through is flawless. And they pray that the procedure continues that way. It was until there was a bit of a stampede to get some form of a resolution that receive public bashing, that if that is what you are referring to, that cannot reflect the will of GBA as it is now. Currently, as
is that the Ghana Bar Association?
The Ghana Bar Association.
All right.
Yes. And there were other lawyers associations like LINSOD, Lawyers in Search of Democracy, that came up to say that, hey, we are not part of this. This cannot be the position of GBA, etc. As we sit here, and Solo has just alluded to, the actions of the suspended Chief Justice. You see, we have an acting Chief Justice currently, as we are talking about. We have other members of the committee who are justices of the Supreme Court. You took those two on. Then you are going back now to those same people to work with them. The environment will be very toxic. I would only have agreed with Solo if this discussion had taken place maybe 2 months earlier. Felix Kwachio Fosu would have written some nice English. All of us would have been happy. The Chief Justice would have said that I want the unity of the country. Maybe by now she might have been posted to Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria. And we are all happy and we move on. But as it stands now, I am saying that she has her dignity to protect. When this whole issue started and snipers of the petition were coming out, I am like, no. If she were my wife, I would have said, sweetie, give up. Let's move on. Because there are things that were coming up that we never knew. Yeah. Someone is going to see the daughter tomorrow and say, you cry, it was our money that your mother took to take you on a trip. You won't have the opportunity to defend that. Someone is going to see you on TV and say, you cry that you are following the Chief Justice, they took our money to buy you a ticket, that's why you are following. All those things, the dignity you have, and the dignity for the office must be protected. That is the more reason why Chinua Achebe says it's always good to be brave, but sometimes it's better to be a coward. Allow where you are fought up to, that is the limit. If Solo is saying, Solo of MPP, Dr. Zato of MPP is saying that she is a goner, maybe he also knows something we don't know. But you see, the counsel that she has, I don't mean one lawyer, the advice, the plethora of advice that she's getting, somewhere along the line, someone should be able to tell her, there's no point continuing with this fight. And again, as Solo said, Abuja that she's gone to, let's give it a couple of weeks. They'll throw that out. All
right. I'll read some of the messages coming in now. This one from Kotoka Courage in Agolonga Lashibi says, oh, is it true that the suspended Chief Justice has filed a fresh case in the ECOWAS court? Does this mean that she does not trust her own court presiding in Ghana? How can the Chief Justice of Ghana send a case to a court in a different country or a regional body? All right. That's a message coming in. Good morning, madam. From Kakra, Istaman, Director of Communications. Oh, I beg your pardon. Director of Communications of the NDC. Okay. I'm disappointed by the tenor of the submission of the university lecturer. All right. A person appointed by another should have a security of tenure stronger than an election person. Let me read that again. No person appointed by another should have a security of tenure stronger than an elected person. An elected president can be impeached. How much more an appointed Chief Justice? A president fell down dead in the country one day, and the world did not stop. All right. Okay. More messages coming in. Good morning, Na. The questions I want to ask are many, but let me just say the Chief Justice should please stop what she's doing. We have too much respect for her. Funny, all right, says, good morning, Na. I'm surprised the MPP is running away now. It's like you were pointing at someone's house, saying that's your house. And now you are asking, and now I'm asking you to enter the house to give me water. You are afraid to enter your own house. Okay, I think that's in reference to the first topic we discussed. One more message. Good morning, Na. Today's conversation has been very interesting. I really like Solomon and all the submissions that he has made. I hope that the others are watching and learning. Okay, and good morning. Last message. Good morning. Greetings to the lawyer in the studio. Please tell him to represent our Chief Justice for us. It appears he knows exactly what has to be done. There's only one way out of this. There's no need to fight. And that's from Ken, texting us from Newtown. All right. I think that'll be it for the messages. Thank you so much for sending them in. I read as many as I could. We appreciate it. The show is not over. With the hashtag TV3 New Day, you can continue to connect with us. And if you haven't cashed out this morning, I wonder what you're waiting for, because I have 10,000 to give to you, 10,000 Ghana cedis. With the code *439#, you can participate in the draw today. You can win 1,000 cedis. So that means you and your entire family can win, because 10,000 cedis is going to 10 people. All you need to do is dial. Please play like 25 to 30 times. 35, you can play 50 times and win. The more you play, the higher your chances of winning on the show today. So 10,000 cedis going out to you. And I've also got, especially from Roland Walker, bonuses. So the bonuses are about 200 Ghana cedis. If you don't win cash out, you can still get a bonus, 200 Ghana cedis, going to as many people as Roland will allow today. We'll check the budget he gave us, and then we'll distribute the cash. It'll come straight to your Momo wallet. No need to call, no need to do anything. All right. That's it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. I appreciate your time and your contributions. Solomon Owusu is a senior communications member of the Movement for Change. Theophilos Jimega is a lawyer and member of the NDC communications team. And Dr. Joshua Zato is a senior lecturer and political policy analyst with the University of Ghana. Thank you so much, gentlemen. See you next Wednesday. All right. Stay tuned. You're watching TV3 New Day. We'll be right back.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm in rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life.